After 14 years, Tesla just stopped building one of its most iconic cars, permanently. No new model replaced it on that production line. Instead, the exact same factory floor is now being converted to build something completely different, humanoid robots. This isn't a side project anymore. This is Tesla physically tearing out a car assembly line to make room for robots, and it might be the boldest bet the company has ever made. In this video, we're breaking down exactly what happened to this production line, why Tesla made this decision now, what the actual robot is supposed to do, and whether this is a genuinely smart, long-term bet or an enormous gamble. We'll look at the real timeline, the real production numbers so far, and the global competition already forming around humanoid robots. This is a natural extension of everything we've been covering on this channel. The future of transportation is quickly becoming the future of automation more broadly. If you're new here, subscribe for more breakdowns like this every week. Let's get into it. Let's start with what actually ended. This particular factory line had been producing Tesla's flagship sedan and full-size SUV for well over a decade, ever since the company's earliest days building cars at real scale. Combined, this single line produced more than 600,000 vehicles over its lifetime. But demand had quietly dropped a lot in recent years, down to only a fraction of what the line was originally built to handle. The very last vehicles rolled off that line in early May of this year, closing out one of the longest continuous production runs in the company's history. It wasn't a recall. It wasn't a scandal. It was simply a slow decline in demand that made the decision to repurpose the space much easier to justify internally. Here's the part that's genuinely wild. The company tore down the entire car production line in roughly 46 days, remarkably fast for a factory conversion of this scale. Conveyor systems, robotic welding arms, paint booths, all of it either removed or repurposed and replaced with entirely new tooling designed for a completely different kind of product with completely different manufacturing requirements. The new robot line is being built with a long-term design capacity of up to 1 million units per year, which is an enormous number for a product that barely exists yet in any meaningful volume. But the company itself has been unusually upfront that this is going to be far harder than converting a line to build a different car model. The new robot involves roughly 10,000 completely unique parts, and there simply isn't an established supply chain for humanoid robot components the way there is for automotive parts after more than a century of the traditional car industry maturing gradually around the world. So what does this robot actually do? It's a general-purpose humanoid robot, meaning it's built with a human-like body shape, 2 arms, 2 legs, and dexterous hands, specifically so it can operate in spaces originally designed for human workers without needing to redesign entire facilities around it. The very latest version is described internally as a ground-up redesign, with essentially every part rebuilt from scratch compared to earlier prototypes shown in previous years. Initially, these robots are meant to perform fairly simple, repetitive tasks inside the company's own factories, things like moving parts or basic assembly steps, before any serious attempt is made to sell them externally to other businesses or eventually consumers. It's a deliberately cautious rollout plan for a product this ambitious, starting with contained internal use rather than jumping straight into the open market. Now here's where we need to be honest about the gap between ambition and reality, because it's a significant one. Earlier plans had suggested roughly 10,000 of these robots would be built in a recent prior year. That specific target was missed entirely by a wide margin. As recently as this past January, leadership publicly admitted that 0 of these robots were doing any genuinely useful work inside the company's own factories yet, despite years of demonstrations and prototypes shown publicly. The company's own leadership has repeatedly described the upcoming production ramp as, in their own words, extremely slow at first, warning that predicting an actual output rate right now is essentially impossible, given how new and unproven the entire manufacturing process genuinely is. This kind of public honesty is actually somewhat unusual in this industry. Most companies tend to hype up new products rather than repeatedly lowering expectations in public the way this particular rollout has been handled so far. So why take this risk at all, especially by tearing out a working car production line to do it? Because leadership has been fairly explicit that they believe general-purpose robots could eventually become more valuable to the company than its entire car business combined. That's an enormous claim, but it explains why they're willing to absorb years of slow, expensive, uncertain production in exchange for potentially being first to true scale in an entirely new global industry. A second, even larger factory is already under construction in a different state, specifically designed for much higher volume production once the technology matures, targeting operations beginning around next year. If this bet pays off, it could fundamentally reshape what kind of company this actually is within a decade. If it doesn't, it's an extremely expensive, highly public lesson in overreach. And this isn't happening in a vacuum. A genuine global race in humanoid robotics is heating up right now. Several Chinese robotics companies have been scaling production and investment aggressively, with one major player recently securing stock market approval for a public listing valued at well over $10 billion. Consumer-facing robot orders from other Chinese manufacturers have already crossed the 10,000 unit mark, well ahead of where this particular company currently stands in terms of actual deployed units. Some of these competitors are explicitly citing pricing pressure from American manufacturers as a risk in their own public filings, suggesting the competition is already being taken very seriously on both sides. Whoever solves reliable, affordable humanoid robotics first at true global scale could end up shaping an entirely new multi-trillion-dollar industry over the next decade. So, stepping back, was ending car production on this line to chase robots a smart move or a reckless one? Honestly, it's probably too early to say with any real confidence. On one hand, the underlying car line was already declining in demand, so repurposing it arguably cost less opportunity than it might first appear. On the other hand, betting a well-known car company's manufacturing capacity on an unproven product with admittedly slow, unpredictable early production is a genuinely significant risk, not a safe diversification move. What's clear is that this decision reflects a broader pattern we keep seeing across this entire industry. Automation is expanding well beyond just vehicles into physical labor itself, and the companies willing to absorb painful, expensive early years may end up defining what an entirely new industry looks like for decades to come. So, honestly, do you think this bet pays off? Or is this a car company wandering way outside its lane? Let me know your take in the comments below. If you found this breakdown interesting, subscribe, because we're going to keep tracking this story closely as actual production numbers start coming in. See you in the next one.